A new year means a new list from Bull Moose. Chris Brown is here in the 207 studio, and today's list is a little unique.
So what you did is you went over the figures of your sales from 2024, and you came up with a list of the 10 best-selling Maine artists who are not signed to any record label to see who are the most popular over the course of the year.
That's
Have we
right.
got that right?
That's right, yes. I'm handwriting checks to these people.
You got out your abacus. You went through all the sales figures for 2024. So let's get to the list. We're going to start with the number one, again, not signed with a label, Maine artist from 2024 in terms of sales at Bull Moose was
Euphemia. And they are a woman-fronted garage rock band. Sort of think of like a grittier Joan Jett. Just pure rock and roll.
Love
The
it.
essence of rock and roll is
Love
what
it.
Gina Brown is.
All right.
And she works with me. She's
Hey,
awesome.
shout out to her.
Yeah.
All right, this name should be familiar to people at home. Griffin Williams Sherry and his album 100 Mile Wilderness is on there.
This doesn't come as a big surprise, does it? He's a guy with a big following in Maine.
That's true, but he's only one sale away from number 3.
Oh.
There was a fight over like December 30th, 31st, or who it was going to be. But yeah, Griffin Williams Sherry, great, roots rock. There's still some banjo and some stuff, because he was in Ghost of Paul Revere.
Sure.
Obviously, probably everybody knows who he is, and super hard working.
My Juliet seems to be the only thing I'll never find on my day.
And he did a CD and vinyl this year, just like Euphemia did. I think that helps get you the top.
All right,
Nice.
so he sold one more album than the person who's number 3 on the list, and
Yes.
number 3 on the list is?
That's Trawl with their EP Tempest, and they were, they're great. They're they call themselves a funk metal band, and this EP has a lot of really deep emotional stuff. It's very raw and it really affected me.
If the members of Trawl had known how close they were to being number 2 on the list, they would have gone running into Bull Moose at 6 o'clock on December 31st and bought 3 albums just to give them enough of an edge.
Yeah, maybe
They would
don't
have.
do that. Some bands do that. They send their moms in and stuff, but Trawl never did that. It's all real.
All right, number 4 on the list, another name, goes way back, Spose, out with What Could Go Wrong.
Yeah, well, what do we say? He's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Still
Love Spose.
super popular, and it's a tie with the next person we're about to talk with. But the next one, who's Spencer Albee, that's a 3-disc set. So technically, if you count it the way that the RIAA does for those big gold records, Spencer actually would have been probably number 1 or 2.
Wow.
Because 3 discs counts as 3 sales.
Okay, so as we say, a tie for the number 4 spot on the best-selling list for 2024. So Spose and then Spencer Albee with this 3-disc selection that is a look back at his career over the last quarter century.
Right. And go to the 207 section on your the website to see
We did.
your big interview with him.
Did a good interview with him. He talked about all the work he'd done and how that whole album came about.
'Cause I can't feel when I got plastic on. I never knew that I could be so strong.
All right, we've got the full top 10 here, and let's just run down real quickly numbers 6 through 10, because these are musicians who are not as familiar to our audience and to us as well. So number 6 on the list, Mammothor.
Mammothor, huge in Lewiston. They're in that hard rock and heavy metal in that zone there. Very cool.
All right, and then number 7, Forest City and Friends.
They are grown up alt rockers. So if you went to Zoots in the 90s, and you've grown up and they've grown up, they're perfect for you.
Number 8 on the list, Death's Hand, an album called Life in Decay.
Okay, imagine a death metal band with a hardcore drummer. You get that hardcore beat, very intense.
Okay.
All right, number 9, Terry
Terry
Duddy
Duddy.
and Friends,
Yep.
Running on Old Road.
Right, and if that makes you think of Running on Empty by Jackson Browne, that works, because he's that's the sound. 70s singer-songwriter rock.
All right, rounding out the list, number 10, Objet, with an album called Objet.
Stoner rock, really good, heavy, slow, kind of sludgy,
All right,
good stuff.
those are the top 10 best-selling Maine artists at Bull Moose in 2024, again, who are not signed to a major record. So go out and find something new. Chris,
Love it.
thanks as always. Appreciate you being here. Stay with us. We've got that full list, by the way, on our app and website. Stay with us. We're going to be back right after this.